Hola, ¿qué tal? Soy Dani Mantilla y estamos aquí en la 68 edición de Seminci haciendo entrevistas en este set que tenemos en colaboración con Valladolid y Kinótico. Hoy estoy acompañado de talento estadounidense, Sean Price Williams, director. Welcome to Valladolid.
Thank you. Hi.
Talia RYDER, welcome.
Thank you.
I wanted to ask you, Sean, because you have been doing work as a DP for 60 movies, maybe. When did you decide and why that it was the right time to tell your own story?
It was a lot of combinations of things. I always wanted to direct. I never wanted to be a cinematographer. When I started doing it, I didn't even really know what the job is to be a cinematographer. I still don't know if I do it right because I've never been in anyone else's sets. And when we made our movie, I originally thought I would have someone else be the cinematographer, and then I decided kind of late that I would shoot it myself, just because I knew I had to be behind the camera, and that's the only way I could really figure things. It's the only way I understand how to piece together the movie and to figure out the blocking and the editing and everything. I have to be looking through the lens. I can't really prepare ahead of time. It's not where my strengths are. So yes, and then the writer also, he's a film critic mostly, and this was his first script that's been produced, and yeah, we were in that part of our life, not a midlife crisis, but a midlife just like experiment maybe that we tried this out. Yeah.
Talia, what was your first reaction when Sean told you about the movie?
Well, I read the script before I talked to Sean, but my first reaction was like, I don't know. I got the feeling. I was like, oh, no one else can do this movie but me. And I actually, after I read the script for the first time, I mean, obviously it's very wordy, and I didn't understand a lot of what Simon was saying, honestly, I didn't understand a lot of what anyone was saying. And I went back.
Same for me, actually. A lot of it's Nick, the writer. Yeah, it's a lot of very complex. Yeah, it wasn't until I heard people say the words out loud that I understood what some of the monologues even were about. So.
But I mean, it kind of worked out because Lillian obviously doesn't understand a ton of what they're saying either. But yeah, and those words, I mean, they're brilliant, but that's not really, at least to me, what the movie's about. And I was really attracted to Lillian and her spirit and the story that she was telling. And yeah, it just seemed like a really fun part to be able to play.
Sean, you're used to working behind the camera. How was working with the actors?
That was the thing I was the most nervous about. Obviously when you're directing, there's a bit of there's babysitting. You're doing a lot of things, creating kind of the atmosphere of the set and the spirit of the set and things like that. I knew I would be good with all of the crew. But the actors, I wasn't very secure about my abilities, and I still have a lot to. So I cast people that I just liked and thought that maybe we would work together well. If I had had some big ego, famous actor that comes with a lot of baggage, and I would have had to manage, I probably would have failed. I'm not ready for that yet. So we really cast it based on just people that I think we were like, oh, I want to hang out, I want to be around this person all these days. I think we're going to have fun together. And yeah, Talia, she was the one I was the most afraid of going into it, because she was very serious and professional. And
everyone always says that, but
yeah,
I don't feel like that at all.
Yeah, you had your the people that work with you, they were kind of intense, and I was just really worried about doing a bad job with you especially. But then as soon as we started working, it was very harmonious.
You are in almost every scene in the movie, but you have an amazing supporting cast like Jacob Elordi, Ayo Edebiri, Jeremy. How was having to lead the cast? It's like you are Son and you are the heart of the film, and then you have guests.
That sounds pretty cool, but I don't know. It didn't really feel like that. I mean, it felt like we were making a bunch of short movies along the way, and they were, I don't know, the days that I worked with Jeremy and Ayo versus the days I worked with Simon, they all felt like different worlds, especially because we were traveling all over and we were in different places. And I don't know, it was really cool and made my job as an actor really fun. Not necessarily easy, but really fun, because everyone's energy was really different, and I thought a scene would be a certain way going into it, and then working with that person, they make you think of other things, and they just bring out different things.
Also,
cool.
you had already worked with some of the people before.
That's
Ayo,
true.
Rish.
Ayo, Rish,
Yeah.
my sister.
Yeah. So that, that was kind of probably nice little breaks that, it was kind of just getting back together with friends or something.
Yeah, the whole time filming, even the people that I just met, it's weird.
Yeah.
Some of my best friends were in this movie.
Simon had, I'm not supposed to say this probably, but Simon had COVID while we were filming with him, and the saddest, the biggest tragedy of making the film was that we kept him in a tent alone, with tea, and we didn't get to really spend a lot of time with him then, and I really was looking forward to really becoming friends with him at the time. We have since, it's all, but it was disappointing at the time that we couldn't be more, just have more fun with him, and yeah.
I read that you're a big cinephile and that you want to write a book with your favorite movies, maybe 1,000 titles.
Yeah.
Did you watch again any of them while prepping The Sweet East?
Sure, yeah. I always watch a lot of movies when I'm working.
John watches a lot of movies all the time.
Yeah, but I don't stop. Some people say, "Oh, when I'm directing, I can't watch anything." I don't understand this at all. I think that's very weird. So yeah, actually, sometimes I watch really unrelated things. I do have a list, the top 1,000 film list that we're gonna publish it, and but the reason it hasn't been published is because every time I say, "Okay, this is the list," then I see a new movie that I like. Oh, this has to go on the list. So it's just a work in progress. I have it with me in my hotel, scratching off things and adding things, and yeah, we actually, the movie that we watched before we went into production in the theater was a British dance film called Hail the New Puritan, which is one of my top movies. But it's a film that, when we watched it, before we watched, I said maybe it has nothing to do with this film, but
it totally does.
Yeah, it's a 16mm dance film. The spirit of it is just it's such an exhilarating, exciting movie, and it was really fun that we did that. It's never like we're not watching. Oh Lucky Man is the movie that this is most closely, the Lindsay Anderson film is most closely maybe a ripoff of. But we certainly didn't watch that while we were making it. But yeah, we watched other things, concert films and things.
You have worked with so many independent authors like Abel Ferrara, the Safdies, Alex Rossberry. Did you share the film with any of them, like trying to get notes?
Well, Alex Perry was involved in the beginning because he has really good relationships with agents, and because of the actors that we've worked with, they all love him, and so he has a really good. So, I mean, I'm sure we got the script to you because of Alex's sort of connections to the agencies and stuff like that. So he was really helpful. And then he did see early cuts. I showed the movie to Abel Ferrara after we had like what we thought was a finished version, just because we wanted to see what he thought of it. And he's a particular type of guy, but I still think I want to get his opinion on everything I work on. Yeah, it's not an Abel Ferrara kind of movie, but he still liked it.
The film is it's not composed by episodes, but it has like different adventures. What was the most complex to film, or the most fun, maybe?
I don't know. Shooting this stuff in New York was a lot of fun because that was our turf.
Yeah.
And yeah, we did we would hang out a lot after filming too, and it just felt like home. And and family shooting in New York. But I don't know. It was really fun getting to travel to Baltimore and DC. I had never been to DC, and just staying in a hotel with everyone was fun. It kind of felt like summer camp. I don't know. It was all a really good time. I guess the hardest would probably be upstate was pretty cold. Like the stuff we were shooting with the Bo Peep costume running through the woods, it was cold. But
That was also the first stuff that we shot, so we were still figuring out how we were doing it then. I think that New York was the most challenging for sure, because it is where we live, and we were kind of the most comfortable, but at the same time, all of our challenges were there. We lost locations there.
I didn't really know about any of that though. I was
Right,
kept in the dark.
yeah, we could, and in the edit, it's the most deleted scenes are from our New York shoot.
I wanted to ask you about the portrait of the America, maybe the legacy of the Trump presidency. How is tackling that? Because the film touches so many things that we have been seeing for the last few years. How was creating that like panorama of America?
Yeah, I mean, we never mentioned Trump or anything like that. We don't say his name. We don't have pictures. There's no allusions to him directly, because I think that would really put the film in a very embarrassing small window of time that I don't want it to be necessarily associated with. I mean,
Didn't you say that you wanted the movie to be in like 2015?
2018.
Oh, 2018.
2018 on the T-shirts and stuff. Yeah, it was. I mean, the thing is, we live in this crazy time where there's so many, outrageous stories that are happening in the news in America, and I don't understand why people don't use these to, in movies today. I think we're being gifted with a lot of, outrageous scenarios. I mean, the guy with the gun in the pizza place, that happened, and in real life, and so that's, it was let's put it in a movie, even though it was years ago now. It's still, I hadn't seen it. I hadn't seen anybody put it in a movie yet. And so and the characters are all just sort of like half fantasy, half reality versions of people that are, that are out there in our country.
Sorry. I read that you wanted to make maybe an 80s, 90s sexy thriller in the future. Is that right?
I mean, that'd be
Hell
great.
yeah.
I mean, to me, that's the genre that everybody loves. Everybody loves a Michael Douglas thriller from 1987. I mean, I don't know why. I guess Adrian Lyne did one a few years ago that was not so successful, but I don't know. Still, I like
Water.
Yeah, exactly. And we love those movies. We love watching them at night on DVD. We love watching them in the theater when they play. It's risky now because of just sexual politics. Maybe it would be dangerous to make this movie, but I think it'd be great, and I think it would be a hit.
And a very good question: how do you feel about the state of American independent cinema right now? Because you have been working, both of you, mainly in the independent side.
Yeah, I was saying just before that I don't really see a lot of independent films right now, because the small festivals, the regional festivals in America that I used to go to all the time, they're mostly gone now, and that's how I would meet people and see the films. So I feel like there was really definitely a community. I don't like that word. It's usually very fake, but there was a community of us making films together, and the Safdies would be in our movie, and I would be in there, or their wife would make a movie, and then Joe Swanberg, Mumblecore, everybody was in each other's movie. That was really a thing, but it's not like that now anymore. But
I don't know. I'm excited. I feel like after our movie in particular, people in New York are excited and want to make more movies.
There's a lot of young guys and girls that are making stuff right now. Like people who were just driving the truck on our movie are making their own movie, and it's a lot of that. So it's hopeful. I'm just not aware yet exactly but it is happening in New York at least.
That's cool. Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
You have a nice stay in Europe, because you are traveling a lot these weeks. So congrats for The Sweet East, a really surprising and cool film. Podéis ver la película próximamente en los cines españoles y está ahora en Valladolid compitiendo en la sección oficial. Así que seguimos aquí con más entrevistas en el canal Seminci y en kinótico.es, la primera con K, la segunda con C. Gracias.
Thanks.